keep anybody reading for a few days.
Okay, Bruce, our time is up. I want to thank you so much for coming back on, because you know what? You always fill in the little bits and pieces that, that we need to hear. And you know what? I just want to say thank you for everything you've done in ufology.
Inviting me.
Yeah. You really are a very credit to ufology. My friend, I want you to have a great week. Until the next time I talk you on coming back on the show, I want you have the best week possible, and say hi to your wife for me.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, my friend, you take care.
Yep, bye-bye.
And bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, James, guess what?
What? Tell me.
It's time we go on break. We'll be back in 2.5 minutes. You're listening to me, Gary, on Night Dreams Talk Radio. I'll tell you what. Bruce has a lot to say in ufology. We'll be back.
Eons ago, when eagles were born, the Godhead let us reign free. We were on the run and the continuum, making choices in a cosmic spree. To exalt the self or enrich the whole, a thought process that endures today. A conundrum under a naked sun of what to think or when to pray.
You may know us as the Watchers, and we're watching over you. You may find the game is ancient, you might think the game is new. We come from different realms, and we are not all the same. You may know us as the Watchers, but we have our own end game.
Some came with high vibrations to straighten out a mess. Some came for domination in a cosmic game of chess. The final chapter's being written and the dice are being tossed. The game will come unbidden when the game is won or lost.
Please check out the Night Dreams Talk Radio website at www.nightdreamstalkradio.com. Also, if you want to keep our show free of advertising, just hit the donate button. Give $1 or $2. Remember, all prior shows are always free to listen to. We at Night Dreams Talk Radio thank you for your support.
If you would like to hear Night Dreams Talk Radio on your local radio station, let them know. Tell them to check out www.nightdreamstalkradio.com, and thank you. Do you have a paranormal story you want to share on Night Dreams Talk Radio? You could be a guest. Email us at nightdreamstalkradio@gmail.com.
From our compound, from the West Coast to the East Coast to worldwide, both on the internet and terrestrial radio, you're listening to Gary Anderson on Night Dreams Talk Radio After Dark.
And here I am, and I'll tell you, it's definitely after dark here in the Pacific Northwest. It's 7:32, and well, it didn't rain this afternoon, so I'm happy. James, what's the weather like in your location?
Oh, probably, well, now it's being nighttime, probably upper 40s, lower 50s, and at least it's not raining.
Ah, that's cool. Hey, Antarctica, you were doing that news article, like those staircase and all that. Mm-hmm. And just, what did the picture look like? Did you look at it over?
Yeah, I did, and it didn't have much on it yet. There's more to come, but yeah, it looked like steps, and there was some pillars. But you can go to Google Earth there, and you can see it. But it was pretty fascinating. I guess it got exposed because, well, like we talk about, all the melting ice. So stuff's starting to pop up, and hopefully we don't get a dormant virus that pops up.
Yeah, that could be scary too. But you know what? If it turns out to be like a real staircase and pillars, and maybe something more, it makes you wonder, what life it throws everything about I have learned in school just out the window. Just out the elevator, actually, because it's going to tell us that man has lived here long before we ever thought about it. It'll be kind of proof like we were rebooted.
Yeah, absolutely. And I believe that several times. And you know, it's also true that Antarctica wasn't always in that position where it's at today. You know, it was different parts of the world. It's moved.
Oh yeah, it shifted. Like the whole continents have shifted.
Yeah, and I'm looking at that picture now. Yeah, it looks like steps and pillars, and it's definitely man-made. In my opinion, it doesn't look like it's natural. I mean, steps and a pillar, but yeah, hopefully there'll be more news come out about that. It kind of reminds me in a way like side of one of those Mesoamerican pyramids or Central American pyramids that you see down there. You know how the steps go up, kind of.
Oh yeah, you know that movie that Whitney and Whitney and Art Bell with the book they wrote, The Superstorm, and then they made a movie from it. Mm-hmm. The day after, I think.
Day after tomorrow.
Yeah, just think about that. You know, if all of a sudden we got hit with snow and cold temperatures, I mean really cold temperatures, and the snow just kept coming down and coming down and coming down heavy and didn't stop. Just think about it. That's one way that, well, civilizations could be buried. And when it thaws out, there will be buildings and stuff underneath it because that would kind of like protect them from decay and, you know, the vegetations that would have grown and taken it over. So you think about that. Just like that picture I gave the coordinates last week. It looked like a medieval castle, the way it was laid out, and it's thawing out. I think it's going to freak people out if some of this stuff starts appearing. It's really going to, you know, like it's just going to blow everything away.
It will, and you know, when I seen that story today about them steps, it reminded me of the picture you had of looked like a foundation of a castle. It did.
Yeah, that's interesting. And also in the news today, they were talking about a black hole is puking out stars and birthing stars, like one right after another. Have you read that?
Yeah, I touched on that a little bit last night on one of my news stories, but there wasn't much about it. It just said that it traveling at, I forget, like 2 or 3 million miles an hour, it spit out a star. And it was, I forget what it said on the news I reported, but yeah, that's pretty much what it said. But I think there's more to come. Sounds like you've got more of an update there.
No, I just was reading in the news this morning that the scientists are saying it's this birthing stars that run one right after another, and which has got the scientists puzzled because, you know, for all this time, other than here just recently where they saw something come out of a black hole, it's been twice now, and now they're seeing, you know, stars being birthed out of a black hole. Up to, you know, here a couple months ago, the theory is nothing could come out of a black hole. Well, now we've seen, you know, something here about a month or so come out of the black hole, which shocked everybody, and then something a couple weeks ago, and now a black hole is puking out, you know, stars and creating new, you know, planets eventually.
Yeah, and that's totally new to us because we're always taught that, you know, you even get near the event horizon, you would stretch so far, your atoms would stretch to infinity, you wouldn't want to experience it. And then once you get trapped in there, matter of fact, it's so dense that it traps light. Light can't even come out of it. But so now it's spitting out stars. So, you know, I think that our ego as mankind is just so much that we think we know so much, but I think we really don't know a whole lot about the universe and the mysteries of it, really.
We don't know anything. That's the whole problem. And what we do know is probably all wrong. Hey, I can't wait to the top of the hour. We're going to be talking cryptics and all that stuff with you-know-who, Joe Taylor will be back on.
Yeah, you know, that I thought of him a couple times last week because I forget where they are. I got them stored somewhere. But a couple stories came in where there were sightings of dinosaurs. I think one of them was even in his neck of the woods in West Texas there somewhere. And one of them was in Africa, I think.
Well, how about that big flying bird? I posted a picture up a few days ago. That was seen, I think, in Tennessee or someplace like that. The people in the car saw this great big bird with a wingspan. You know, it was huge, just flying, pterodactyl. And, you know, that made the news, too.
It did. You know, I seen some pictures today of a bat. This bat is so big that if you seen it flying, you would probably think it was a Mothman or something. I mean, this bat was huge. It almost had a body like a human, too. I'm going to see if I can find this into, but it was amazing. And when I seen it, I'm thinking, now it's not a native bat to the United States, but listen, neither are pythons, but there's a whole breeding species in Florida. So who's to say that, you know, a bunch of them didn't escape and they're out in the wilds now?
Yeah. You know, I used to know somebody had a bat as a pet. They actually took it to the vet, and you know, when they found it when it was a baby bat, they checked for rabies. It didn't have rabies, and the bat, you know, became like a pet. I mean, and it was strange.
Yeah, I mean,
very affectionate too.
Right, different bats can be like that, and I've seen that also. You know, another thing that was discovered too, and what was it? Here's 18,000-year-old wolf dog pup from the Siberian permafrost. You know about the permafrost.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the picture of it. I'm be honest with you, you would never think it's 18,000 years old, but they got to do DNA on it to figure out if it's a dog or a wolf or just what it is.
Yeah, isn't it strange how things are going to start popping out, isn't it? I mean, we already got the climbers that died on various mountains, you know, in the Himalayas because it's thawing out and all that stuff. And then, you know, they're finding prehistoric creatures, you know, right and left. It's going to maybe, like I said, it's going to change our whole thought of civilization. Now, I just noticed your picture you sent to me. It does definitely look like a staircase.
Doesn't it? I mean, isn't that something? It's amazing. I was like, wow. I couldn't believe it when I seen it. Again, I think there's going to be a lot more of that kind of stuff popping up.
Yeah, who knows? What are we going to do if we start seeing buildings and stuff starting to appear?
Well, that's, you know, my theory is once you start seeing stuff that may show a past civilization, you know, when are they going to, powers that be, going to start censoring Google or the, you know, satellite pictures and stuff? That's what I'm wondering.
Well, if it starts getting any more severe, you know that's going to happen because it already does happen. You know, Mary Joyce sent me back 6-7 months ago. You know, the big huge cave that Linda Morton Howell, you know, was talking about that was an alien base, or she claims it was an alien base, and talks about when you walk into it, it lights up and it does all this stuff, strange stuff. But anyway, she said she originally Googled it and sent me a picture of it, and it was an opening big enough where a 747 could fly into it. And it didn't take long. All of a sudden, you went back to the coordinates, and guess what? It was blocked out.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That stuff happens, and it's unfortunate, but it's true. It does happen. And yeah, I'm looking at this bat. This bat is
it a hairy bat?
Yeah, it's hairy. It's got kind of a face like a dog almost. I mean, it's amazing. I'll send it to you. But yeah,
I think I kind of glanced. I didn't really read the article, but I saw it, and they were talking about it was hairy, which is unusual for a bat.
And it's big. It's got a big wingspan. I've seen that species. There's another species called a fox bat. They're pretty big like that. They're not native here, but again, neither are pythons, but they're everywhere in Florida. And you know, if one of those got turned loose and they're flying around in the woods of the Jersey Pines or anywhere, Tennessee, Illinois, let me tell you something. If you looked up and seen one of those giant bats flying around, you would think that it's, you know, fits a humanoid body with wings, like a Mothman type.
No, or something, because, you know, I just looked at your picture. Yeah, I saw that here the other day. I saw that picture. And I tell you what, it doesn't look like a bat at all.
No, it doesn't. That's what's freaky.
And I'm gonna sound gross, okay? But if it's the same picture, I just glanced at now, it even has testicles and all that stuff. Is that right picture?
Yeah. That's what I mean. So if you see that, you would